Hi, it's James. I'm out here on the trail today, and the reason I'm here is because I'm struggling with feelings of low self-worth. I've met a lot of challenges in my business as I've been developing a new app, and there's a bunch of stuff going on in my life that has really hit me hard. And it made me think of the words to a song called Michigan. The words go, "The clouds move in over Pontiac skies, their silent thunder matches mine. I know this feeling from long ago. I wondered, was it gone? And now I know." And on days like today, when I'm struggling to find my own sense of self-worth and value, I gotta retreat to the very things that help remind me that my sense of value is not attached to anything. It just exists. And for me, that place is nature. So here I am on a cloudy day when I have recognized that that feeling is not gone yet. It's back, and I gotta deal with it. So I'm gonna take you on a journey up to Elephant Rock. It's a symbolic run for me because almost 3 years ago, my marriage completely broke down, and I left my home. I left my religion. I was dealing with memories of some really terrific child abuse, and all of that combined really gave me some uncertain ground to stand on and to find my value and my self-worth. And so I came to the mountains. I came to the trails to find it. And so today, I'm facing some significant challenges that are really hitting me. And I get it if you're like that. If you're in that space yourself, man, it can be hard. And so these are some steps that you can follow to really regroup and find your value, because it is there. You're just missing it. And you got to find it. And the way to do it is to find, first of all, something that you love to do that rejuvenates you. And then go do it. Move. Get yourself moving. So I'm going to run up this trail. I started in 2016. When I first did it, I was out of shape. I was 50 pounds overweight. I went for a hike to Elephant Rock. It's a 3.5-mile hike, 1,000 feet elevation gain. Not a very strenuous hike. And about a mile into it, I was done and I had to give up. I saw runners on the trail at the time, and I thought to myself, I would love to be able to run this trail. And so I started running, and a little while later, I could do it. So I'm here to run and meet my elephant. Have fun joining me. So I got to back up a bit. I said step one is to go and do something you love. But before that step, before I could even get my head around doing something and changing my emotional state, I had to recognize the state I was in. I was at work. I did all the essential stuff I had to do today. And then I had a bunch of stuff that requires creative energy. In order to create, I have to be in a mindset to create. And I am so stressed out and so completely attaching my value to accomplishments that I've got no self-worth to trust that I can create anything of value. And recognizing that, I knew I had to reach out. Once I first recognized that space, I reached out to some friends that I know have been through what I've been through. Building a new business, confronting delays and deadlines, and all of the things that happen to everyone that starts something new. And it's hard for me. I don't want to do it. I can't even run anymore. I got COVID in August. I used to run this trail nonstop. I'm puffing and I'm just walking. So frustrating. But guess what? I can be patient with my physical space because I've been here before and I've done it. And so this is reassuring me that I can have the patience and the tenacity to keep persisting, and I will move ahead. So recognize, man, I'm struggling. Reach out, find support from a friend, loved one, somebody who can help you. Third, get moving and doing the thing that will remind you that you can do this and you have value. I got more. I'll keep you posted as I run. I want you to take a look at the austere and stark nature of these woods here, covered in fog. Fall has come. Everything is dying. And there's a fog that keeps us from being able to see where we're going to go. To me, this is all representative of my mindset when I'm facing low self-worth. Look at this little dog who came to join me on the trail. Hey, buddy. He wants to play. When I can see myself reflected in the nature around me, it changes my own perspective of myself. The thing to remember with our mindset is that everything we're thinking, all of the things that our minds run to when we're feeling defeated, feeling low self-worth, wondering if we have value, is just programming. It's programming that we encountered, if you're like me, when you face trauma in your life. For me, it was abuse as a child. And when things sidetrack me, I really begin to doubt my own value. I gotta take a breath. But when I see my state of mind reflected in nature, I know spring is coming. I know the calm of winter will provide a blanket of beauty that'll cover these stark, barren trees. And I know new growth is coming if I just persist. And that's a valuable thing. Your space may not be nature. It may not be physical, but there's gotta be a space that reminds you of what you are, who you are. You have value no matter what. I don't know if you can see that rock, but that is Elephant Rock. That's where I'm headed. And that's the place that when I reach, I want to take this elephant off my back. So I didn't know this would happen, but I've been in the fog, struggling, not knowing how to get out. And I come to the trail to find my answers because I need the energy to persist. And there's answers everywhere. Our mind will make sense out of things, particularly if we do something we love to reaffirm our value. And look at that. You see that fog in the valley below me? I was in that mentally, physically, emotionally. And I started running this trail in the fog. Couldn't see my final destination. It was covered. And then it slowly became apparent as I moved up the mountain and kept going when I felt like it's too hard. And there's the rock. There's the view. The sun's still hidden a little bit, but man alive, I can see. So after you've identified you're struggling, you've identified some friends, support people that you can reach out to, and then you have picked one thing that you love to do that reaffirms your value. Don't make that thing super challenging. Elephant Rock for me is no longer an extremely challenging hike or run. The trail's sure, the footing's easy, the path is well cleared, and I don't go off trail today. Usually I love to go off trail. Today I need certainty. I need to remember my value. And sometimes when we're in a space of creativity, when we're in a space where things are too new, we're trying to overcome a challenge, the uncertainty is overwhelming. And that's where you begin to doubt yourself. You lose your sense of self. You begin to wonder, do I have what it takes? Well, you do. It's in you. If you're still breathing, it's in you. Find that path, that sure path that you love to follow. Give yourself the certainty that you need, and then you'll find you can recover. And once you're solid, get creative, go off trail and explore. Find your value first in what you know and do best. This is a lot harder than I thought to shoot these on the trail. This is my space, my recovery space that I go to get my head right, you know? And I know we all face stuff. Everyone does. There's people that have gone through way harder than me, and that's the nature of life, right? So the step after those first three that you take is to stop comparing. You gotta quit comparing yourself. You do not compare to anyone. You are the unique and sole proprietor of everything you bring to this planet. And no matter what it is, if you are in the gutter, drunk, or sitting in your own vomit, or the Pope or the Dalai Lama, you are of infinite value. And when you can personally recognize that, then you begin to see things in a different light. And what was a cold and dreary day turns into beauty. And when you quit comparing, you can move to the next step, which is gratitude. And look behind me. Look at this tree covering the trail, full of green leaves. in the middle of winter. And there's snow and dead things all around me. And this one beautiful tree that I get to run under in my trail to remind me of all the blessings that I have. Even now, when I feel like I'm struggling, I'm lucky because I'm still breathing. And when you have breath, you have something to be grateful for. If you're still breathing, you still have life. Hold on to that. Those are the next 2 steps. More to come. I have no idea if you can tell how steep this is, but it is slick and muddy. And the last stretch to my rock, the elephant rock. Sometimes when it's tricky, the best thing to do is go. And here we are. There's my rock. This is my rock. This is the elephant. It's called the Elephant Rock. And in the midst of really some of the most difficult points of my life, I was facing a divorce, which we understand, you know, these are hard. It was contentious. I was facing a transition with my work, completely revamping what I do as a coach to meet the changing economic climate and what people want. And I had stepped away from my religious belief finally, and on top of it all, through the process of the divorce, my children have decided that they don't want anything to do with me. And those are things that happen in divorce. It's very normal for one spouse or both to experience that at some point in the process, and it's a difficult thing. And being in that space, I often would struggle with feelings of low self-worth. And one time particularly, I was still coming to terms with the memories of my childhood abuse. I had been in therapy on and off for years, really since 2000. I started therapy and on and off, and then I started in earnest in 2018. And early on in that year, through the process of doing some of the steps that we've talked about, recognizing I was in trouble and offering myself space and compassion and going through, reaching out for help from friends and all those things, I was really, really struggling to hold the memories of what had happened and hoping they weren't real. I honestly kept hoping that at some point I'd go back to my therapist and say, hey, these things that I remembered, can you tell me I made them up, that they're false memories? This is what I longed for. But I had to accept that it was real, and I had to process it, and I would come here. And I was having a tough time accepting it, and I didn't want to, and I came to this trail, and I ran it. And at that point, I've gotten over COVID. My lungs are recovering. I can't run like I used to. And I ran up the mountain, and it was an easy run for me at that point. And at 3.5 miles, I felt like I was carrying a 50-pound pack. And when I got to this rock, the clarity of some of the memories that were lingering around my mind that I could see but I didn't want to see broke. And I saw them, and I knew they were real, and I couldn't deny it, and I could hold it. And it didn't change who I was. It didn't change my value, though I felt it should, because of the neurosis of abuse and how it impacts you. And in that freedom of accepting the reality of what it was and owning that memory, the little boy in me broke free. And I was able to run down that trail at a pace that I haven't matched in quite a while. And it was so fun to feel that release of that burden. So I don't know why you're looking for something that will help you find your self-worth. I don't know the struggles that you're facing. They are your own, like mine are mine. But I do understand how hard it can be to take action when you're feeling like you're not worthy, like you don't have value, and you don't want to add, you want to hide. If that's the case for you, follow these steps. Find a place for you that is something you can go to reinvigorate your life and make you feel like you have something that you can do that is significant to yourself, not to anyone else. Nobody cares that I run to this rock. Nobody cares that it's 3.5 miles up 1,000 feet. Some people think that's amazing. Some people will look at it and think it's worthless and nothing because they're ultra runners and they run hundreds of miles in the mountains. But it's not about the distance. It's not about the comparison. It's not about anything but what it brings to me. And look at this fog rolling in now to cover what we're doing. I had the moment of breakthrough and I've got more fog because I'm going to head back down into that fog and I'm going to face the demons that I'm facing today around the challenges that I won't need to overcome in my work, that are making me feel frustrated because I can't take action. I'm waiting on others to fulfill their end of things. And I hate being trapped and held stagnant when I want to go. So here I am on my rock, facing my demon, and knowing that I've got work to do when I get back, and knowing that I can do it. I have value. This is my elephant rock, and I am sitting on it without much difficulty. I mean, my lungs are struggling, but it really wasn't that hard to get here because I know I can do this. And I can take that mindset of strength back to my place of weakness. And I can approach it and accept the fact that the fog will break if I persist, that the clarity will come if I persist, that my value has never left me, because it will not, as long as I am breathing. The final step after recognizing all this is taking hard action. And to do that, it's easy when you're in that moment, when you've broke through and you're doing something you love, and you can think, yeah, I'm gonna go do that. But I have been here many times before. And I'll go back home, and in the transition of cleaning up and getting ready to work, I'll lose some of this energy. I'll lose some of this excitement. And I will face a barrier that I must walk through in order to succeed, in order to really, truly find my value again. And in that space, I must meet the challenge and recognize it is just energy. That's all that is required. There is nothing malicious or intentionally harmful in anything that I am facing. It is just something that's bothering me because I can't do what I want. All that is required of me is the energy and focus that I need to break through this barrier that is stopping me from reaching my goal. And when I apply that energy, that trouble, the fog, all of that will break and I'll have clarity. I know it. I do know it. But in order to face it, I have one more step. And what I do is I like to take a cold water plunge. So I'm going to get into the river down here on the way back, and I'm going to sit in the water, because every time you walk into a cold body of water in winter, your mind will say things to you like, don't do it, you could get hypothermia. Don't do it, it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be too hard, it's going to, all these things come up in your mind. But I know they won't hurt me. I know this water can't touch me because I bring my energy to it. And the act of stepping into that water and submerging myself and feeling the cold and then getting up and moving on is the same kind of energy that I need to bring to this barrier that I know I will face momentarily when I sit down to apply myself to this creative work that I need to accomplish. And that movement and the energy I bring to break through that barrier will then allow me to act with the value and worth that I know I have, and I know you have. You have it in you too. You've just got to find it again. So remember these steps, follow them. And if you do that, it doesn't have to be a run in the mountains. It can be music, it can be art, it can be work, it can be taking care of loved ones. Whatever that thing is for you that gets you to the place where you know you are above that monkey on your back, that elephant that's dragging you down, that's the thing that you want to go to. That's the space that you go to, and then you take that energy and apply it to where you're struggling. I hope this helps you. I'm James Burnham, and this is how I do it. Thanks for joining me. last step. The one where I get in the water. I don't want to get in. It's cold. But this task of forcing myself in is the energy I need to break through the barrier when I get home and do the things I have to do. There we go. Whew. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna sit around for a whole lot. Just wanted to feel the water, get in, experience it, and know I can do this again with the work I gotta do.